Hello and welcome back to the Watford Way today as we are here to preview QPR versus Watford as Watford travel to Loftus Road to fingers crossed hopefully get our promotion ambitions back on track. If you don't know who I am, I'm James. I run this YouTube channel. I run all our social media channels as well, so make sure to check them out in the description down below and make sure to subscribe to the channel as well to keep up to date with all the latest Watford news. Plenty of previews, match reactions and live match watch alongs when possible as well, so make sure to hit the subscribe button down below and also let me know your thoughts on the appointment of Chris Wilder as well. I'll be interested to see what you guys have to say on that. But yes, we'll probably start on Chris Wilder and we'll start on Gareth Ainsworth as well, because both teams are basically going into this game with new managers. Gareth Ainsworth has joined QPR very recently as their new manager, and obviously very recently as well, Slaven Bilic has left Watford and we've appointed Chris Wilder as our new manager for the final 11 games of the season. Really for Watford, it's one last roll of the dice to try and get promoted back to the Premier League. Clearly automatic promotion, and that possibility went a long time ago. But the opportunity is still there to get into the playoff positions. Watford currently are 4 points off. So, we are quite a way off them playoff positions. But, if Watford win 2 games in the trot and the teams above us lose, that ground can very easily be gained again. So I don't think we need to worry too much at this current moment in time around the playoffs. Statistically, apparently Watford have the easiest run-in out of all the championship teams left for the rest of the season in terms of the teams and where they're positioned in the league. So I think that's going to benefit us as well. And if you look at the next 3 games Chris Wilder has to manage, they're teams who you would expect Watford to beat. Now, we've said that all season, Watford should be beating Hull, Millwall, Preston, whoever it may be. And that's simply not been the case. But if you look at the next 3 games, new manager bounce, everyone's back from injury, you have to be confident. Surely, you could be the most negative Watford fan out there, but if you look at the next run of fixtures, we've got QPR, Birmingham and then Wigan. All 3 teams are on abysmal runs of form. QPR especially, I believe the stat is they haven't won in about 17 games. If I'm wrong, correct me in the comment section below, but I think it's about 17 games that QPR have gone on a winless run. And remember, QPR at the very start of the season, we're up there in kind of the playoff positions and challenging for the league. They actually beat us at Vicarage Road. I think Chris Willock scored in that game. But ever since their manager left, they've kind of fallen off a cliff. And actually, the threat of relegation is looking quite scary for them at the moment. I don't think QPR will get relegated. However, they've got a massive injury crisis. They have brought in a new manager. I think they'll be okay. But it just goes to show, in this league where if you go on a really poor run of form, you can very quickly drop down the championship table. And I'm sure they'll want to beat Watford this weekend. So I think this could potentially be, one of them games where, both teams are right up for it. And hopefully we'll see a lot of goals as well. Hopefully them goals go in Watford's favour. But yeah, we've touched on QPR. Now let's touch on Chris Wilder for Watford. Obviously, Slaven Bilic has got sacked. If you haven't already, make sure you go and watch our last video I made on the channel. I talked everything about Slaven Bilic in that video and whether the sacking was justified. I personally think it was a justified sacking. I know we've become a bit of a joke in the media and I absolutely accept that criticism. But, he clearly wasn't doing good enough with the squad Watford have. This squad should easily be challenging for automatic promotion. He's not done that. And unfortunately, it's not the players that get sacked, it's the managers that take the brunt of the blame. And I think that's fair. I think it's a fair sacking. And we've brought in Chris Wilder, a very experienced manager. In terms of the formation he plays, it's very different to Slaven Bilic. Chris Wilder pretty much plays in a 3-5-2 formation, which is very interesting. I think it is a very interesting formation because obviously, the squad we've built doesn't really necessarily suit the formation Chris Wilder likes to play. He likes to play with wing backs. Obviously, most famously at Sheffield United, he played, with them overlapping centre backs that worked so well for them in their first season back in the Premier League. I think they finished 9th actually in their first season back in the Premier League, which was a record for them, I think, since 1992. So he did really well at Sheffield United. His last job at Middlesbrough didn't go to plan, but there's no doubting for me, he's a man with lots of experience in this division. And you know, you look at his past record at his previous jobs as well. He seems like a really nice guy. You know, has the ability to motivate the players, which I think is what Watford need. I think Bilic towards the end, it looked like, you know, on the touchline during games, he didn't look that excited. It looked like he was giving up at times. So I think for someone to come in and kind of revitalise, re-energise the Watford squad, I do think that's exactly what we need. Now, in terms of the formation I mentioned, the 3-5-2, it is going to be difficult to fit certain players in. I think most notably Ismaila Sarr is going to be the player who potentially might miss out on a starting position. Now, Ismaila Sarr is a wide player. He likes to play on the left or right hand side. He's not really a striker. So the only position I could see Ismaila Sarr potentially playing would be wing back on the right hand side. But defensively, I don't think Ismaila Sarr is strong enough to do that. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens with Ismaila Sarr. Keenan Davis, I think, could come back into the team with a partner up front. Whether Pedro plays up front, Sarr plays up front, Arouge plays up front, we'll have to wait and see. And in terms of the wing backs as well, Joao Ferreira, obviously who we brought in from Benfica in January, has recently come back from injury, so he might play in that right wing back position. And then obviously on the left hand side, you do have a couple of options as well in Ken Sema and Hassan Kamara. So I do think in some positions we do have the players to fit the system. It's just whether in these 3 or 4 games Chris Wilder's had with the squad, he's got enough time to kind of implement his style of play in the team. We'll have to wait and see. What am I expecting from QPR? As I said, they have Gareth Ainsworth in charge currently. They do face the threat of potential relegation from the Championship if they can't turn their current losses into wins. So I think they'll be up for it. Watford clearly will have to be up for it. So I think there'll be lots of goals in this game, and I think Watford will win by 3-2. So let me know your thoughts and your score prediction in the comment section down below. And I have to say, for the first time this season, shock horror, I'm actually going to an away game. I very rarely do so just because I'm a little bit lazy. But yeah, I am going to QPR at the weekend. So I'm very, very excited for that. And fingers crossed, my first away game of the season will be a Watford victory under our new manager, Chris Wilder. We'll have to wait and see. And yeah, as I mentioned earlier, make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel as well. And you can find all the links to our social media channels in the description down below. We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, and we're also on Twitter as well. So make sure you go and check them out as well. And apart from that, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again very, very soon. Bye-bye.